Good morning. Friendlies mostly in the football with the Euros on its way. I don't tend to play these matches, but you tend to see the odds equal goals 1.14. Normally expecting a goal before half time at 3 or more goals. That's a possible angle in, but trusting friendlies is a difficult job. Did Hungary score first? No, they didn't. Ireland scored first there. Did the Finns score first? No, they didn't. Far too efficient for the pork and cheese. Likely to be fielding first 11s, of course, with the Euros on its way. But this is typical. Would you have laid the draw in this particular match? Not so sure. Tennis-wise yesterday, well, not much really going on. If you took on the 1.2 favourites after they won the first set, at least you'll keep the liability low. And you would have nearly been rewarded on a couple of cases there. Tiebreaker. If Tsitsipas had won that, you'd have got an immediate movement in the odds for Alcaraz. Similar story if Grigor Dimitrov had converted that tiebreaker third set, we would have had some movement in the odds. At least Ons Jabeur was reading the script. I thought this had a good chance of being a three-setter, given these are both world top 10 players. She's no also ran, is she, Jabeur? Swiatek got a layer at these odds anyway. Pointless to back. Looking on to the football today, African World Cup qualifiers. The quickest route to figuring out the strength or otherwise of the sides is to go to the FIFA World Rankings here. Sponsored by Coca-Cola. If you were drinking Coca-Cola as a professional footballer, you're going to have to be howling mad Murdoch to do that. Let's have a look at the men's rankings. You won't have sparkly teeth like Jurgen Klopp's if you drink Coca-Cola. You have been told. So what I would like to do in Africa, so we're going to go CAF, CAF. Just look at the rankings. Central Africa against Chad. It'll give you an idea of how to gauge the two sides. So let's have a look at Central Africa. Come on. Oh, we're going to show the full rankings then. Okay. That would help. Central Africa. No, it's still not working. I have to have words with Bill Gates about this. My Control and F not working. Well, you get there we go, Central African Republic. Why it didn't pick it up, I don't know. 128th in the world rankings are playing Chad. And again, I don't know why it's not picking up the rankings for Chad. There's Chad, 176. So you immediately, alarm bells, trust issues with these two, both outside the world top 100, i.e. they're not that consistent. So that 1.65 looks on shaky ground. Has there been a recent head-to-head? You can check that at Soccer24. No matches found. So that in itself is troubling. We have no idea how Chad are going to perform against Central Africa. They've never met before. So one last lot, Togo and South Sudan. Let's see if we can get Control and F to work. There we go. Togo, 113th in the world rankings. South Sudan. I wonder if there's two. Yeah, South Sudan, 167th. So yet again, post 100 in the world rankings. It's going to make this very difficult to unpack. 1.53 the favourite. Any recent head-to-heads might help the issue. But no head-to-heads here either. So another head-scratcher in Africa. So it's going to be a difficult coupon. But I will be up and around for the 4 kickoffs at 5 o'clock. In-play stats will be an obvious first starting point there. Elsewhere, all we've really got is international friendlies. We've got one match, Ergesund and Asane. Ergesund really against 11th and lower, home and away, tend to be scoring 3 goals at least. So Egersund. Both teams to score is a very strong Egersund angle. A goal before half time, over 2.5 goals. They tick all the boxes, Egersund. So we're highly likely to see both teams to score today. Asane would be liable if leading. Can Egersund score 3+ goals? And the World Cup with the Euros. Let's see who we've got today. We've got the big guns out today. Spain against Andorra. I just got a feeling Spain might edge this one. I don't know what it is. It's just a gut instinct. France and Luxembourg. Belgium and Montenegro. Norway, Kosovo. So some really good matches. Local derby. Denmark and Sweden. San Marino and Slovakia. So some very obvious plays. When you see odds like 1.03, you might want to have a look at fun, correct score plays. I would choose 3, either odds or evens. Example, 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, or 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, something like that. Because that's what these odds are suggesting, an absolute avalanche of goals. You're also expecting goals before half-time as well. Any other home score would be a bare minimum for these under 1.04 odds. Up to you completely. It could be a contrary play. France have struggled in the past, I think, against Luxembourg, haven't they, with a 1-0? Just check the head-to-heads. Indeed, a 0-0 last time, 2017, I remember that. I thought it was a 1-0, but it's a 0-0. So Luxembourg can shut the door. Don't forget, these are friendlies, so you've got everything that goes with friendlies. Could be possible team changes first and second half. A look at squad players, a trying out of new tactics, trying out of new formations. It might not produce the result that the market expects, and indeed we expect, with the huge gap in the FIFA World Rankings. You can check them out at FIFA.com. And on to the tennis today. It's already a walkover for Casper Ruud against Novak, who's given us some excellent trades in his last 2 matches. It'll be a pity to see him gone, but obviously been something up with Novak this season. Very rare for him to be losing at odds of 1.1 and lower. Very rare for him to, in 2 consecutive matches, to find himself 2 sets down. Zverev and old Hitler haircut. The odds for Zverev rising slowly. He's impressed so far. And again, this is what we saw yesterday. And the market arguably got it right yesterday with the 1.2 favourites when we had a world top 10 against one just outside the top 10. Old Hitler haircut there, just outside the top 10. And at 1.2 odds yesterday, the market got them spot on. So you might want to bear that in mind. Still, for me, I would be looking at taking on a Zverev lead. I think de Minaur's last match, he wasn't even favourite. So old Hitler haircut did a great job in his last match against Daniil Medvedev, not even a favourite. So that was this is exactly what we're seeing today, apart from 1 position difference. 11th against 4th today, 11th against 5th here. So that does tell you something, doesn't it? That I think the market's being a little too generous on Alexander Zverev. I think this could be a 4 or even 5 setter today. And I would be comfortable in laying Zverev, particularly if he's 2 sets up, or if he wins the first set and his odds drop dramatically enough. Paolini and Rybakina, I'll have to check the rankings, 15th against 4th. So we're seeing this pattern a lot, aren't we? I think Paolini could be competitive here. Do read the previews by all means. And this one could be a 3-setter. I would be happy to take on Sabalenka if she wins the first set, on the simple fact that these 2 are fellow countrywomen, i.e. probably going to know each other's tennis game a lot more than they would if they're not from the same country. So that certainly offers me something. We've already got short odds to start with. Sabalenka wins the first set, her odds are going to be even shorter. That would be the way I would play that one. And I would look at taking on Alexander Zverev at some point, particularly if he leads comfortably a set and a break, for example. I think de Minaur could be very competitive here. He's already shown he can beat a top 5 player in the world. So that's going to be fascinating today. Football's going to be very quiet again, I'm afraid, but I will be up and about for the 5 o'clocks for you. Africa and the World Cup qualifiers and the Asani match in the Norwegian Obos-ligaen at 4 o'clock. Asani Egersund looks very readable. This could be possible neutral plays here today if you're focusing neutrally. Over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, goal before half-time. The goal before half-time, how would I work that? Well, if it's 0-0 after 10, 15 minutes, consideration to lay the draw in a half-time score market. We'll go half-time. Half-time market. Go to the half-time score market. Back perhaps 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted half-time score market in Egersund's favour. But we do have that both teams to score, which doesn't mean it's going to be a win to 0 for Egersund. So you might want to go neutral, back over 2.5 goals in the first half goals markets. So I'll see you throughout the day. I'm sorry it's a bit quiet at the moment, but the Euros are with us, and I will be investigating the Euros, particularly in the e-letter on Friday. We'll be having our first peek, have a look at the rankings and the markets that are available. When you've got tournaments and you've got group matches, it's not all about, you could trade the group, you could trade the winner. These are long form trading markets rather than the blood and thunder of a football match. You could look long term. England, for example, are looking extremely strong, aren't they, in all departments, particularly up front. Very exciting stuff. Germany are in a rebuild, as are the Dutch. They might not be up to scratch just yet. So it looks an ideal opportunity for England. I would suspect someone like Greece and Turkey might be surprise packages. Greek with their defensive capability and based on getting a boost from Olympiacos being in the Europa Conference League final. Have a great day today. I'll be up and about for the tennis, if it's on time, of course, and also from about 5 o'clock on Telegram. But please don't expect an avalanche of trades at all today. It's just not the type of matches we need to be focusing on. They are friendlies, but caveat, all of the odds on favourites in friendlies so far in the last couple of days have won. Have a great day. See you, members of footballtradingprofits.com, on Telegram throughout the day.